Welcome to this basic braiding tutorial. If you want to learn the fundamental braiding skills for the other videos on my channel, or want to brush up on the skills you already have, this video is for you. This video is on the quintessential French braid. Let's get started. We'll go over the pattern of the French braid first. It involves 3 strands, alternatively weaving over each other like the basic English braid, but adding in more hair to each strand as you go. So start with 3 strands, and cross the right one over the middle one so they switch places. Then cross the left strand over the new middle one. That's one iteration of braiding. Before crossing the right strand over the middle again, first pick up some more free hanging hair that's right next to the strand and add it in so the strand is now bigger. Then weave over the middle strand. Do the same with the left strand, adding in more free hanging hair from right next to the forming braid, and then weave the now bigger strand over the middle. And that's the whole pattern. Add in new hair to the right strand, weave over the middle, add in new hair to the left strand, weave over the middle, and so forth. After a few iterations of this, you start seeing the familiar French braid pattern. Now let's talk about hand position for holding all these strands. Because our hands have 4 spaces between our fingers, it's pretty easy to hold all the strands at once like this while you use your other hand to pick up more hair. To do that, hold the nearest strand across your palm so it comes out between your thumb and index finger. Then I hold the next strand over my pinky and ring finger and in the space between the ring finger and middle finger. Finally, you can pinch the last strand between your thumb and index finger. At this point, your other hand is free to pick up more hair, add it into the nearby strand, and switch it with the middle strand. Then hold all 3 strands again with your other hand so you can use the first hand to pick up more hair. This isn't the exact way you have to hold the strands, but if you're unable to do it right now, this is my way so you can start practicing with it. Finally, here are some random pieces of advice when you're French braiding. When you're doing a typical French braid over the top of your head and down the back using all your hair, the hair on the side of your head can be difficult to deal with because if you pull it up, that's fighting against the natural position of your follicles. So I tend to start these braids about halfway across the top of my head already, and only add in hair from the top of my head until I reach the crown. At that point, I add in side hair because this position pulls the hair backwards more than upwards. It also helps if your hair has been washed recently. And in the back, the hair lowest on your head tends to be the longest, so make sure at least some of your hair below your ears is in each strand. That way, none of your strands are shorter than the others at the end. Once you've added in all the free hanging hair, do a few iterations of normal braiding before bringing the tail over your shoulder. This position is easier to finish the braid in, but some tight braiding before this keeps the hair at the nape of your neck from puffing out when you pull the tail in one direction. And finally, a lot of my videos have side braids, so let's talk about that. These braids use less hair overall, so focus on making your strands much smaller to begin with, and add in some small amounts of hair each time. Start weaving with the strand that's highest on your head, so that you can pick up hair from above the braid to add into this strand before you add in hair from below the braid to the lower strand. Hair from above obviously drapes all the way down the side of your head, so if you started with picking up hair from below the braid first, you wouldn't have any to add to the upper strand. Then when you're finished adding in hair and are braiding normally to the ends, don't pull the tail forward so much, and instead hold it back as much as you can in order to keep the French braiding part flush to the head. And there you go. Practice these tips, and you'll soon be able to do one of the most important skills in braiding, the French braid. This video is a part of a basic braiding tutorial series I'm doing as a 12 Days of Christmas event at the end of 2016. So if you like this video, come back to this channel every day for a new braid to learn. Or if it's past 2016 by now, you can check out all of these basic braiding tutorials in the playlist over to the right, as well as some other hair tricks and tips videos in there for basic hairstyling advice. Thanks for watching, and happy braiding!